Hi kids, welcome back. Ready for another story? Yeah, me too. Today's story is Cinderella. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Cindy. There we go. So as I was saying, my name is Cindy, kind of like Cinderella, which is what my not-so-nice stepmother and stepsisters call me. I had to go live with them in a dark, cold place called Europe, where they have castles and princes and stuff like that, but I'm getting ahead of myself. They're always making me do all the chores. Like it's normal for kids to help out with the dishes, feed the dog, clean her room, and stuff. But they made me do everything. All day long, I'm cleaning toilets, tying their hair bows, ironing their socks. Well, seriously, who needs their socks ironed? My only solace was my cat Fryball. And since my stepsisters were allergic, I had to keep him outside. And it can get wicked cold in Europe. I'm sorry. One day, an invitation arrived. The prince was having a grand ball and everyone was invited. I finally had something to be happy about. Fryball and I did a little dance. But my evil stepmother told me there was no way I could go.
You have to clean the bathroom floor that night. Duh, it's Friday.
She was right. Friday was tub and toilet night. Friday came and my lousy stepsisters put on their lousy new dresses and strutted out to the ball, while I got out my scrub bucket and brush and got to cleaning. I'm gonna be honest, I cried. But just a little.
Don't be sad. Cheer up.
Thanks, kids.
Look, a fairy.
She said,
Don't be scared. I'm your fairy godmother.
I didn't know I had a fairy godmother.
Oh, okay, so that explains why you never call or visit, send me an email, edible bouquet. Now stop your crying. Let's get you to the ball.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm kind of cleaning the bathroom. It's tub and toilet night, and I don't have a dress.
Oh, please. Stand still. Wow, pretty. Now you'll find your limo outside. I did a little wand action on an old jack-o'-lantern for that one, and Fryball is your chauffeur. Now off you go. Oh, wait, one thing. You gotta get home by midnight. That is so important. I can't stress the importance here. There's always a catch with these spells.
And just like that, I was on my way to the ball. Woo! It was the most fun party ever. Snacks galore. They had a chocolate fountain, an 8-foot meatball sub, awesome music, a conga line, a Wii, karaoke, foosball. It was magical. I met the coolest guy in the world. We played bowling on Wii. We ate nachos. And we realized we had the same taste in like everything. We like the same color. Red. The same food. Cheese doodles. The same movies. But the best one is Toy Story 3. Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Even the same taste in shoes. Sneakers to a ball?
It's midnight, y'all.
Eek! I didn't have time for goodbyes. I made a run for it.
Bye! I forgot to ask her name. Oh, I always get something wrong.
By the time I got back to my limo, it had turned back into a jack-o'-lantern. And Fryball back into a regular cat. I was back into my regular clothes. And somehow, I had ran right out of one of my sneakers. With one shoe and Fryball by my side, I walked home. The next day, there was a breaking news announcement from the prince that he had met a great girl at the ball who would make a great princess. But he didn't know who she was.
I must find her. All I have is this this shoe. And I will canvass the land and find the foot that fits this sneaker. I really think she might be the coolest girl in the whole world.
Say what? I was hanging out with the prince? Whoa, this was an interesting turn. My stepsisters argued over which one of them it was.
Oh, he loves me.
It was great. Little did they know, it was me. But when the prince and his prince people came round to do the test fitting, my stepmom sent me out back to wash the windows. I watched as my stepsisters both tried to squeeze their big feet into my shoe. Then he saw me.
Hey, what about her? Please, will you try on this shoe?
Yay!
It's you.
And that's when my stepmother and stepsisters screamed and passed out. They didn't handle shock very well.
I'm Ron Charming.
Hi, I'm Cindy. You owe me a Coke.
Jinx!
Now you owe me another Coke.
Jinx! Now you owe me another Coke. Jinx!
That went on for quite a while. And then we lived pretty darn happily ever after from that day on. It was a real Cinderella story. Now here's Little Red Riding Hood. Today's story is Little Red Riding Hood. It worked. Okay, once upon a time, a little girl named Little Red Riding Hood, that's me, was packing a nice dinner to take to her grandma's house. My grandma was sick, and even though I had to walk a mile, I was ready to help my grandma because that's what good kids do, right? I packed up a sweet dinner, liver and onions and peas. Oh, you don't like that? Okay then, fruit roll-ups, some pizza, ice cream, and 4 Twinkies. Okay, good choices. Now, there's only one good way to get to Grandma's. It's right through the scariest forest you can imagine.
That's not scary.
Oh, my bad. Better?
Yay!
Good. Whoa, but then someone or something snatched my red hood and snatched my basket of delicious snacks. I'd been robbed. Kids, robbed by a wolf. I said a wolf. And the wolf was wearing my red hood. That's a little girl's hood. He could stretch it out, the darn wolf. And he just looked silly, too. Then he spoke.
What is a little girl like you doing all by herself in the woods like this?
Going to my grandma's house, if it's any of your business. And it's not, so please give me back my stuff.
Aren't you a sassy lassie? Maybe I will go to your grandmother's house and eat her. What do you think about that? Put some sauce on her, maybe some ketchup or mayonnaise, I don't know.
Oh, no, you won't. You're not putting mayonnaise on my grandma. I yelled and I kicked, but the wolf ran off. And wolves can run pretty fast, even when they're wearing little girl's red coat that doesn't fit quite right. I had to get to Grandma's and fast. There was a dangerous wolf in the woods, so I ran.
Faster!
Run faster? Okay. Okay. Woo. We're here at Grandma's house. Let me in, Grandma. There's a dang wolf outside in the woods, and he's stealing little girl's clothes and parading around, and the wolf. And this time, he's wearing my grandma's nightgown and sleeping cap. He even had on a pair of her high heels. And he was licking his paws, just like he'd eaten a snack. Or maybe, my grandma, what can I do? He's a wolf. But I had an idea. It was a good idea. I ran, and I ran, and ran, and ran, and ran, and ran really, really fast. Okay.
Like a cheetah!
Like a cheetah? What's that sound? It's like a click, 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 click. Is that the big red wolf? And he's still wearing my grandma's high heels. And you'll understand one day, it's impossible to run in high heels. Then, right there, with his twisted ankle and his belly full of my grandma, he started to get sick. It was really gross. place. He threw up my grandma. Oh, don't worry, she was fine, not a scratch. He threw up all the fruit roll-ups and the ice cream and the pizza and the Twinkies.
I don't feel so good.
It was gross, but it gave me and Grandma time to get away. We called the police and the firemen and animal control, Dog the bounty hunter, and everybody we could think of. And I'm happy to tell you the wolf was caught and sold to the circus. And now, every year since, Grandma and I go to the circus when it comes to town just to laugh at the big bad wolf. He doesn't know any tricks or anything, but it's just funny to see a big old wolf wearing high heels.
I love that story. Now let's watch Jack and the Beanstalk.
Today's story is Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Jack. So Jackie, that's me. I lived with my mom. To make our living, we had a cow whose milk we sold for money. Let's just say we weren't rich. One day, Bessie stopped making milk. She was an old cow, ready for retirement. Maybe she wanted to move to Florida. She had some friends down there, fulfilling their milk bucket list. Mom told me we would have to sell Bessie. We had no choice. So the next day, I led my dear old friend, Bessie, to the town square. On the way, we ran into an old wolf who told me he'd love to take Bessie.
May I offer an interesting trade for your bovine friend there?
No, sir. I need to sell her.
Okay. I guess you don't want these magic beans.
What kind of beans? Because I don't like lima beans or pinto beans.
I said magic beans, kid. They're totally magic and are worth more than you're ever gonna get for that old dried up cow. If you're not interested in these very valuable, very magical, exotic, and definitely totally real beans, I'll find someone else.
I'll take them. Wow, with magic beans, I could.
What?
Oh no, I didn't ask how they worked. Oh man. I got home and hoped my mom would just forget about the whole selling Bessie thing. I would just play it cool. Yeah.
Magic beans? There's no such thing as magic!
She was right. What were we supposed to do with 3 little beans? I tossed the beans out the window and headed up to bed. But that night, something amazing, dare I say magical, happened. A giant beanstalk had grown outside our window. What else do you do when you see a giant beanstalk? You climb it, duh. At the very tip top, just above the clouds, I saw a yard and a house. A big house. I was hungry for breakfast, and I figured a big house like that would have some really big snacks. No puny fun-sized candy bars here. I let myself into the giant house. Gosh, who lived here? A whole NBA team? There was a maid inside. She was normal size. What was she doing in such a giant house?
I'll give you some table scraps, and then off with you.
She gave me a bit of bread. It looked like a big crumb, like a crumb from a giant sandwich. I stuffed the big breadcrumb into my knapsack, and just as I was about to leave, I heard,
Faithful thinner, I think I smell my dinner.
I hid, and I just saw the most giantest giant imaginable come in. Ruh-roh, was I for dinner? Also, not to nitpick, but it's technically breakfast time. But back to the issue at hand. There was a giant! He started to count a bunch of gold coins. He must have had like 1,000,000, nay, a jillion. I waited until the giant got up to go to the bathroom to take a giant bath. I grabbed a sack of gold and hightailed it to the beanstalk. Listen, I know stealing is wrong, but I thought maybe it would be okay because he had so many coins. He wouldn't mind. So I showed my mother.
Young lady, you march back up there and give that man back his gold. There's no such thing as giants.
So the next day, I went back up the beanstalk. I decided I would just leave the coins by the doorstep. And I saw the strangest thing, a golden goose, and it was laying golden eggs. Oh, Mom would never believe this. So I took a picture with my iPhone. She'd have to believe me now. I picked up one egg to get a few shots with me holding it. And then the goose started honking like a traffic jam. I had to scoot. Oh boy. Then I heard,
Fee-fi-fo Fizz. Who the heck is bothering my goose?
I had to get out of there. Why was I messing around on a giant's turf? I ran for it and skedaddled down the stalk. Unfortunately, I still had the egg. Oh, blarg. Mom saw it and told me to return it.
There's no such thing as a golden goose. That egg is just a decoration. I've seen one just like it at Macy's.
But I had an iPhone photo. So up I went. I was going to just set down the egg and leave. Simple as that. But then I saw the coolest treasure ever. A golden guitar. It started playing by itself. Cool. Wait a second, I recognize this guitar. I had seen a TV news story about Professor Giants, a nice but strange inventor / scientist guy who lived in our town. He had made a golden guitar. It was a gift for the mayor. It was on the news because it had been stolen. Wait a second, I'm not a thief. The giant's the thief! I was just gonna leave and call the police, but the guitar started playing again, loud. Darn rock and roll. I ran like a cheetah. The giant! He started to chase me! Oh! He followed me right down the beanstalk! And that silly gold guitar was still twanging and riffing and totally shredding. My mom and some other townsfolk heard the racket and gathered around the beanstalk. Then my mom, one of the most gentle, nicest, sweetest little ladies in the world, she started chopping down the stalk with an axe. Wait till I get down there, Ma! I got close to the bottom and jumped. Just as she yelled, and thud, the giant fell. I told the townspeople about the stolen treasure up the beanstalk. The police arrested the giant and the fire department extended their ladders all the way up to the sky to go get the rest of the gold stuff. The mayor gave me a reward and we used it to buy a new cow. And my mom finally believed me that giants, golden geese, and magic are all real. It was a happy ending.
Let's check out another story. Here we go.
All right, kids, have a seat in a chair or a couch. It's fairy tale time. Once upon a time, no specific time, just once, there was this girl who was trapped under a nasty spell by a nasty witch. Her name was Rapunzel. Anyway, this witch wanted to keep Rapunzel forever and ever and never share her with anyone else because Rapunzel was so sweet and so perfect. So, in addition to keeping her in a massive tower, the witch cursed her with very, very long hair. Hair that grew almost 2 feet every day. And all that hair weighed so much that Rapunzel absolutely couldn't leave. All she could do was hang around and solve jigsaw puzzles. Well, one day a handsome prince came looking for her and he called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, what's up?"
I could use a little help up here.
"Throw down your hair, princess. I will save you." And so he climbed up Rapunzel's hair, used some of it to tie up the nasty, nasty witch, and then used a bow and arrow to shoot the end of the hair down to a tree to create a zip line and zip line the girl to safety. Once they were safe, the prince gave her a chocolate kiss, which not only broke the spell and made her a princess, but also made her start square dancing. And that is how Rapunzel was saved. The end. Oh, and the witch. She got stuck in the tower by herself, solving jigsaw puzzles forever. The end. For real this time.